Facebook fam, good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning. They are building an audience for us. Building an audience for us. Sister Cynthia Robinson, good to see you this morning. God bless you. Just want to say that if you are on this Facebook Live, Aunt Gertha, be sure you click on that little button over there that says share. Share that with some folks this morning. Aunt Gertha, good morning to you. Just want to give a shout out, Pastor Pete, my brother from another. Thank you for joining. Pastor Pete and his wife Dee Dee do a great Monday morning motivation for relationships, particularly for couples, man. So if you guys can check that out on Mondays, that would be great. Gives great insight. I don't care how long you've been married. If you've been married 6 minutes, 6 months, 6 years, or 60, they add value to your marriage and your relationship. So check them out for their Monday morning motivation. I want to give some shout outs. I've been somewhat, how can I say, old school, jammed up in the corner. Chosen Generation wants me to give them shout outs on here when they are viewing. So shout out to Chosen Generation, in particular Mother Ann. She is one of my main supporters at the church, one of the oldest members we have, but she is probably the most vibrant and vital part of our ministry. So Mother Ann Moore, you know I love you. Your pastor's always got your back, and always praying for you. Brian Watson, my man from high school, good to see you, B. Watson. Bless you, man. Always good to have you guys on. And be sure you share. Go on to the Facebook page. Get Me Through Wednesday Facebook page. Join. Like it. If you've been invited, be sure you like it. Be sure you invite other folks to like it as well. There's some great things that are coming down the pipe as far as the Get Me Through Wednesday and where that's going for us. Working on some things behind the scenes that I'm praying God would bless in a mighty way. DeMont Goolsby, my man from Morehouse, Graves Hall. Morehouse today is celebrating 150 years of existence. So DeMont and I met at Morehouse when we were freshmen, fresh out of LA and Detroit, and we've been loving on each other ever since, man. Good to see you, brother. Blessings to you. Pastor Rudy, good to see you, man. Thank you for joining. Coach Banuelos from Verb, thank you for joining, man. Coach Banuelos is a good friend of mine. We went to high school together. Pleasure to have you guys on this morning. Be sure you go to the Facebook page, Get Me Through Wednesday Facebook page, and like us. Cedric Nelms, a YouTube page as well. Subscribe to that. We got some things that are coming up, and that'll be posted, as well as these Get Me Through Wednesdays are posted on there too. But let's get into the lesson this morning, or get into this Get Me Through that I have for you today. Last week we dealt with toxicity and those things that are toxic and those things that ooze out of us that are not good, that are poisonous. Today I want to ask the question of, who are you? That's a question that I've gotten asked in different ways over the years, especially with us planning the church. It's a constant thing of, well, who is the church, and what is your mission, and what is your vision, and what are your core values? What are you trying to do? And it evolved. It went from what I call this shoot from the hip, which is that's the kind of person I am, to having a good dear friend in Pastor Pete, who said, sit down, man, and start writing some stuff out and really hone in on what would the church look like and what is the mission and vision of the church, and get it down to something that is tangible, that can be reproducible and repeatable. And so I asked you this morning, good to see you, Lisa. Stephanie, good to see you this morning. Bless you too. The thing that I've always dealt with is, who are you? So when that question is asked of who are you, typically our first response is we say who we are, who we think we are, or how we should respond to the question. So typically somebody like myself, oh, I'm a pastor. Or they'll say, okay, but who are you? Oh, well, I'm Karen's husband. Okay, but who are you? Oh, well, I'm Erica, Jonathan, Khalid, Isaiah, and Courtney's dad. Well, who are you? Well, I'm Bill and Thelma Nelm's son. It's always a question of who are you, but that's not who you are. Those are titles. Who are you at the core is who are you in your quiet time? Who are you when the lights go off? Who are you when you walk off the stage? Who are you when you leave your cubicle? Who are you when you are in your car driving to your destination? Who are you? Who are you at 2 o'clock in the morning when no friends and no family is there and you're battling with your thoughts? That's who you are. Who are you is made up of your body and your spirit. That's who you are. And at the core of who we are is our spirit. Our spirit is what feeds us. Our spirit is what regenerates us. Our spirit is what keeps us going. Our spirit is that thing that is the engine to our being. So when the question is asked, who are you? You really have got to deal with that. And I don't think most of us walking this earth today have ever answered the question in its entirety of who we are. Who are you? There's a great book that I'm reading for one of my classes that I'm taking through the Urban Ministry Institute called Victory Over Darkness by Neil T. Anderson. And the first chapter just slapped me all upside the head. And most of you know I got a big head. So the first chapter was, who are you? And it went through the process of breaking down how we allow for our mind to dictate and predicate and perpetuate sometimes bad thoughts of who we are. Okay? So we think that we're inferior. We don't think that we're cute enough. We don't think we're pretty enough. We don't think that we're smart enough. In my case, you never do think that you are thin enough. You don't think that you can compare. And the thing that I watched this morning on one of my friends' pages on Facebook was, stop comparing yourself to other people, because you can't compare yourself to someone else, because that's someone else's story. God has given you a life so that you can write a story. So my story is not the same as somebody else's. Like my good friend Demont, my story is not his story. Like my friend Rudy, my story is not his story. Like my good friend Pete, my story is not his story. We each have a story to write. And within that story and within the pages or the proverbial pages of our life, we've got to write who we are. So I've got to play out and I've got to write at the core of who I am, because that's going to have a ripple effect on my seeds, on my children. They've got to be able to identify who was dad when he was living here on earth. So in my spirit, I've got to work on who am I? And who I am is not about my titles, but it's more about my service or my life that I give to Christ. It's about my spirit. That's why when we leave this earth for the last time, it is one to where we leave a lingering spirit for everybody else to kind of piece and look at and to observe and to take a little bit of that with them. So that they can apply that maybe to their journey, good, bad, or indifferent. At the end of the day, folks, we are spiritual beings living a human existence. We're not human beings having some form of a quasi-spiritual interaction. No, at our core, we are spiritual beings. So yes, you are not inferior. So yes, you are not the ugliest person. Yes, you are smart. Yes, you can get that job. Yes, you can have a good relationship. Yes, you can be have dominion over that situation. Yes, you can. At the end of the day, you've got to know who you are. Because somewhere at some point in time, someone is going to ask you that question. And if you get stuck, you got to sit down and really take an assessment of who you are. Who are you? At the end of the day, as I teach at the middle school, I'm working with my 8th graders on them really defining who they are, not just in their relationship with Christ, but who they are as individuals, because they're getting ready to go from a very small middle school into high school. And most of you that are watching this or will watch it, just like I did, experienced a whole lot in high school. High school was a different world, and just like high school was a different world, college was a different planet. Okay? So I'm trying to get them ready for, you're leaving this small little community to where everybody knows your name, just like Cheers. And you're ready to go into another community that's a little bit bigger, and now you've got to figure out who you are. Hey, Cheryl, good to see you, sis. You've got to figure out who you are now. So now you've got to begin to brand yourself and define yourself. So I have them going through the activity of branding themselves. Because if they can brand themselves, then they can know who they are. Like I shared with them the other day. In and out is in and out. In and out doesn't, you can't go to In and Out and try to get a chicken sandwich. You can't go to In and Out and try to get street tacos. You can't go to In and Out and try to get spaghetti and meatballs. When you go to In and Out, hey, Cousin Kara, when you go to In and Out, you get burgers and fries, shakes, and Cokes. Those are the 4 things that you get. Now, you can get them done in different ways, but you can only get burgers and fries, shakes, and Cokes at In and Out Burgers. That's it. They don't change because they know who they are. Man, I hope this is resonating and connected with somebody. Hey, Glenn, good to see you. You got to know who you are, because if you don't know who you are, someone else will try to speak into your life. Somebody will try to tell you who you are. Somebody will try to design who you are. Someone will try to paint a picture of who you are. When you know who you are at your core, as my mother says, you will know that those are things that you will do, and you'll know the things that you will do when you know who you are. But you don't know who you are, someone else is going to try to tell you who you are from their point of view. Other people can't tell you who you are from their point of view because they're not you. So this week and today, start figuring out who you are at your core. And I need to say this, and I think the Holy Spirit is moving on me to say this. Somebody has told you you are going to amount to nothing. Well, if nobody else tells you today, Pastor Ed is telling you today that you are amount to something because your life has purpose. God didn't create you without a plan and a purpose and promise and possibilities. So I don't care what anybody tells you. They can tell you that you're wrong. I'm telling you that you're right. They can say that you're inferior. I'm telling you that you're dominant. Somebody might tell you that you're not pretty enough. I'm telling you that you're gorgeous. Somebody might say that you're not smart enough. I'm telling you that you are borderline genius. I'm telling you, somebody tells you that you can't start that business. I'm telling you to start writing your business plan. Somebody says that they won't read your book. I'm telling you right now, start typing the first chapter. Somebody can tell you that you don't deserve that job. Go apply for it. Somebody's going to tell you, oh, you can't afford that car. Go get it. Go and be who you are. Because who you are, you have the ability to design and to create and to cultivate who you are. Why? Because you are actually not the person that's holding the pen that is writing out the script of your life. It's actually your creator. That's it. That's all I got for you today. Figure out who you are today. Because if you can figure out who you are, it has a ripple effect on your legacy. Because they will talk about who you were because you figured out who you are. I'm Pastor Said. If this blessed you today, share it with somebody. Go on our Facebook page, like us, please. Share the page with somebody else. Get them to like it. Get them to see the past Get Me Through Wednesday video feeds. Go on to our Facebook page. Also, go on to our YouTube page. And like Cedric Nelms Ministry, there'll be some stuff there, old videos and things of that sort. But if this has blessed you, I'm not asking for anything in return except for you to share it with somebody. Amen. So I'm Pastor Said, be blessed. As we say at the church, I love you, but God loves you best. And have a great day. Peace.